And it's PLB with Basketball News, back with another video. And in today's video, I'm going to be reacting to some NBA trades on TradeNBA.com. So if you want to see me react to your trade, then put it on TradeNBA.com. But yeah, we're going to be reacting to some trades in this video. So if you like this kind of content, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you get notified whenever I upload a video. Link to other channels in the description below, and let's go ahead and get into this video. So the first one is the Raptors get a new forward/center. The Pacers get Serge Ibaka, 76ers get Victor Oladipo, and Raptors get Joel Embiid. Now, this is an interesting trade, I definitely would say. I think this is a good trade, though. For the Pacers, are they getting the worst part of this deal? Definitely. I think they could get a lot better back than Serge Ibaka, who's on a one-year contract. And you could get him back, but you've already got Miles Turner there. So at the best, he's a backup, and that just doesn't make any sense. But for the 76ers, you get Victor Oladipo. I like that trade a lot for them. And for the Raptors, it's a huge win because you get Joel Embiid. All right, next one is Tobias Harris to the Warriors. 76ers get Christian Wood and Andrew Wiggins and a 2020 first. Pistons get Furkan Korkmaz and 3 first-round picks. So for the Pistons, I don't like this trade a lot just because you're giving up a star player potential in Christian Wood. I think he has a lot of star potential. Andrew Wiggins is a player for Golden State, obviously, that has been rumored to give up. But can't you get a better player than Tobias Harris for Andrew Wiggins? You give up the 2020 first-round pick, which I don't particularly like, just because you're taking that bad contract back of Tobias Harris. For the Pistons, I don't like this trade a bit because you get Furkan Korkmaz, who's not a bad player, I'm not saying that, but he's also not a great player. 3 first-round picks. Neither of those are the number 2 Golden State pick. Neither of those are even a valuable pick. I mean, the 2020 round 2 via Dallas is going to be bottom second, and 2022 first round pick. You don't know where the 76ers will be in that amount of time. And the 2020 round 1 via Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City's not going to have a high draft pick. They're in the playoffs this year. So that doesn't make a lot of sense. But let's go ahead and go to the next trade. Ooh, here's a decent trade. We've got a trade between the Hornets and the Knicks. You've got to the Knicks, you've got Bismack Biyombo and 2 first-round picks. The 2020 round 1 pick, the Knicks get that. I don't particularly like that. But I could be willing to do that if, for one, James Wiseman is not there at number 3, because I think Onyeka Okongwu could easily fall to number 8, and we could still get the same person that we want at number 8. So if that's it, then that makes sense. 2020 first round pick. I'm a little hesitant to give that up if I'm the Hornets, just because you don't know where you're going to be then, and they may have a bad year. And Bismack Biyombo's contract is terrible. You get him off the books, but then you get another bad contract for another year, and that's Bobby Portis, which Bobby Portis did have potential when he was playing for the Bulls. He looked pretty good, and then Lauri Markkanen came in, and that was it for him. All right, here's the next trade. We have got a trade between the Warriors, Pelicans, and 76ers. And in this trade, you've got Tobias Harris to the Warriors. Pelicans get Furkan Korkmaz and Glenn Robinson, who will just be pretty much 2 role players for them, which I think would be good. 2 good pieces off the bench. Obviously, Glenn Robinson would be off the bench, and Furkan Korkmaz would be a good shooter off the bench, even though they do have J.J. Redick there right now. For the 76ers, Dragan Bender, Josh Hart, and Andrew Wiggins, 2021 first and a 2020 first 2. The 76ers, it seems like they could be a big winner in this trade because they get the Tobias Harris contract off the books. And they have to take the Andrew Wiggins bad contract, but they could probably trade that and get a decent player. Josh Hart's a good player off the bench, and Dragan Bender, I think, still has potential a little bit. 2021 first-round pick, that's not going to be too valuable, I don't think, from the Pelicans. And then this number 2, round 1 pick from the Warriors is going to be very valuable. But for a contract like Tobias Harris, I just don't think you can give that pickup. Let's go to the next trade. Next trade is a trade between the Hornets, Kings, and Thunder. Let's go ahead and react to this trade. For the Hornets, you get back Buddy Hield and Steven Adams. Steven Adams' contract is quite big, but you also get Nicholas Batum's contract off the books, which is great. And you get Terry Rozier's contract off the books going back to the Kings, which I'm not saying Terry Rozier was a bad player, but he definitely is not worth his contract. He's more of a $10 million worth player. Malik Monk also goes to the Thunder, which I think is a little bit of a steal for the Thunder if they could get him at his highest potential. A 2023 first-round pick from the Hornets and a 2026 first-round pick. That is a little iffy for me to give up just because you don't know where your team's going to be in 2026 or 2023. So that could be a number 1 pick. Kings get back Terry Rozier, Jalen McDaniels, and a 2024 round 1 pick, top 5 projected from the Hornets, and the Hornets get Buddy Hield and Steven Adams. So obviously the Hornets are the big winners in this trade, but I think the Thunder are probably a sneaky big winner in this trade just because Batum's contract is only on the books for 1 more year, and you get these 2 first-round picks, and you don't know where the Hornets are going to be in that many years. And I think the Kings could get a sneaky pick right here with a 2024 round 1 pick. So let's go ahead and go to the next. Here's a trade between the Bulls and the Timberwolves. You've got Jake Layman, Jacob Evans, James Johnson, and the number 1 pick in the 2020 draft for Zach LaVine, their 2020 round 1 number 4, 2021 round 2, 2021 round 1. This is a very interesting trade, and I like it for the Timberwolves because you don't move down a lot. You get your shooting guard, so you don't have to worry about Anthony Edwards right there. You can draft a wing right there, maybe Denny Avdija, whoever. You don't know what the Bulls are going to do in 2021. They could be terrible, and that could be a high draft pick. But a good trade for the Timberwolves, and I think it's a sneaky good trade for the Bulls. Obviously, you have to get the back contract of James Johnson just to make the money work. Jacob Evans is a player that has a little bit of potential. Jake Layman as well. 2020 round 1 pick. You can get the replacement for Zach LaVine and LaMelo Ball or Anthony Edwards, either one. So let's go ahead and go to the next trade. A good trade overall there. The next trade is between the Bucks and the Pelicans. You've got Lonzo Ball and Nicola Melli for Eric Bledsoe. Now, this is a trade that I don't think you do it if you're the Pelicans. And I say that because I'm not saying Lonzo Ball's a great player, but I think if you get the right head coach for him, he could be a lot better of a player. So I wouldn't do this trade if I was the Pelicans. And the Bucks, you get one of a good point guard defender given up right there. I mean, you get a better one in Lonzo Ball, but I mean, next trade, not a terrible trade, but not a good. Oh man, this is a blockbuster trade between the Raptors and the Nets right here. Kevin Durant and 5 first-round picks to the Raptors for Patrick McCall and Pascal Siakam. Now, I don't actually hate this trade for the Nets. They get Pascal Siakam back. Kevin Durant is obviously a better player, but that means the Nets are not willing to take the risk of injury on Kevin Durant, which is interesting. Next trade. Here's another blockbuster trade. You've got Bradley Beal, a 2021 first, and Davis Bertans will be in a sign and trade for Josh Richardson and Joel Embiid. Now, I like this trade a lot for the Wizards because you get Bradley Beal's replacement in Josh Richardson, who's a better defender than Bradley Beal. Not better with offense, but you get Joel Embiid too. So I think the Wizards might be a better team if John Wall is back as good as he once was. And for the 76ers, they obviously get Bradley Beal and Davis Bertans, which is good, and a 2021 first-round pick. And the Wizards could be terrible next year. So you don't know what that first-round pick really will be. So that was a great trade, I think. But let's go ahead and go to the next. All right, here's another trade, which I think is a blockbuster. Joel Embiid to the Celtics. The Magic get Robert Williams, Romeo Langford, Gordon Hayward, and Tobias Harris, and 3 first-round picks. The 76ers get Jonathan Isaac, Mo Bamba, Terrence Ross, Evan Fournier, Aaron Gordon, and 2 first-round picks. This is a very interesting trade. I think the biggest winners of this trade are the 76ers, more than the Celtics, because they have to give up 3 key role players on their roster. They get rid of Tobias Harris's contract and possibly get some better fits with Ben Simmons. So overall, I think that's a good trade. Here's another trade that would definitely change some teams a little bit. The Suns get Bam Adebayo, and they sign and trade Derek Jones Jr., and a free agent signing Goran Dragic. So I like this trade for the Suns. Derek Jones Jr. was originally on the Suns, and so was Goran Dragic, I'm pretty sure. The Heat get DeAndre Ayton, Ty Jerome, and 3 first-round picks. So I like this trade a lot. That's a very good trade, in my opinion. Here's another interesting trade. The Thunder get Ja Morant, and the Grizzlies get Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Darius Bazley, and 2 first-round picks. Now, this is an interesting trade. I don't think the Grizzlies are going to trade Ja Morant, and neither do I think the Thunder are going to trade Gilgeous-Alexander. So that's that trade. Next trade. Here's a trade between the Magic and the Nets. So the Magic get Karis LeVert, and the Nets get Aaron Gordon, and sign and trade Michael Carter-Williams. Magic definitely are the big winners in that trade. Okay, next trade. The Spurs get Chris Paul, and the Thunder get DeJounte Murray, Patty Mills, a 2020 round 1 pick, number 11, and Marco Bellinelli. I actually like this trade for the Thunder. They get a good point guard back. So overall, that's a good trade. Let's go ahead and go to Here's another trade. This trade involves the Warriors, Kings, and Hornets. Hornets get Harrison Barnes, a bad contract, but they get Nicholas Batum off the books. Nicholas Batum and Andrew Wiggins to the Kings. For the Kings, they get 2 bad contracts, but 3 first-round picks, including the 2020 round 1 pick, number 2 for the Warriors. And Rashawn Holmes and Buddy Hield to the Warriors. So that is a pretty decent trade, I think. And here's the last trade of the video. I think this is close to a blockbuster at least. The Timberwolves get John Collins. The Hawks get Jake Layman and Joel Embiid. The Wizards get Josh Richardson, Clint Capella, and 2 first-round picks, including the 2020 round 1, number 1. And the 76ers get DeAndre Hunter and Bradley Beal. Now, for the 76ers, I like this trade. For